The first dilemma is from Sikle. Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up how to pronounce that before I started the video, so if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. That being said, hi Jordan, I hope this finds you well. I'm a 22-year-old university student in South Africa currently studying one of the most demanding courses in my faculty, and I can't balance school and my dream career, which is music. When I focus on maybe say schoolwork, I feel like I'm neglecting that dream, especially given that that's the point why I'm even in school. See, I don't have money to just fund myself, and jobs are hard to find as a high school graduate. You need a qualification at least, so school is my best option. South Africa has bursaries, and the most popular and well-known one is NSFAS, which covers tuition fees, accommodation, book allowance, and even gives you a monthly allowance too. I'm currently using both allowances to fund my dream. Not too long ago, I bought my recording equipment, so I can't start recording and making beats, but school is so demanding and getting in the way of what I set out to do. If I don't focus on studying and getting good grades, I might lose my bursary, and that leads to losing funds to propel my dream. And if I spend most times on studying, I don't have enough time to work on my dream. My family is not so keen with how I spend my allowance. That doesn't bother me much because I know not everyone is going to be on board in the early stages of any endeavor, and they think I should be using my allowance on other needs, but I digress. One thing that does bother me is I've already bought expensive equipment which I hardly have time to use. Most times I'm frustrated, sleep deprived, and anxious. One reason for that is that I have an artist who wants to work, and when I do work with him, I could grow my audience. We've both talked about this since 2021 and I just couldn't at the time. The guy still wants to work this year, and now I feel the pressure. The pressure that I have to put in the work to collaborate with this artist, and my small audience have been waiting for music since the beginning of 2022. They've also been putting pressure to release music. I just can't balance both. I'm truly struggling. Is there any advice you can give to aid me in balancing both? Alright, so here's the thing about that. So what I see is two things. Number one, I see, I'm not going to say poor, but suboptimal time management skills. And I also see fear of success. And I'm going to address both of those things in this video. So first of all, the suboptimal time management. The first thing that you need to understand is that we all have access to the same 24 hours in a day. Doesn't matter if you're in South Africa, India, China, the US, Canada, or anywhere else in between. We all have the same 24 hours, and we also, if you're watching this video, all have access to technology, which allows us to expedite certain processes that may not have been able to be expedited in the past. Right? We can optimize certain aspects of our lives such that we can save ourselves a lot of time. For example, we can utilize the internet to connect with people, right? And that's a way that allows us to spend more time actually mastering our craft as opposed to going out and trying to push mixtapes to random people out of the trunk of your car or just random people on the street corner. We have much more free time because of the access to the technology that we have, but having access to more free time doesn't mean anything if you're not using that free time correctly. Now here's the thing, what I would recommend if you think that you're using your time efficiently is time block. Start time blocking. This is something that I personally did during quarantine, during lockdown in 2020, and that changed my life forever. I only did it for about 3 weeks and my life has not been the same since. Because in time blocking, I realized that there is always enough time in a day to do everything that I need to do. Always enough time in the day. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I understand that studying takes a lot of time out of your day. It takes a lot of energy as well. And that's probably the bigger problem, is that it's taking energy such that you're not using the rest of your free time efficiently. However, creating music should give you that energy back. Sometimes you may be too lazy to start doing it, but once you start doing it, you'll realize that that's something that you love to do. You'll be reminded that you love doing it, and because of that, you'll regain whatever energy you lost from studying. It's kind of like when you spend time around people that are very draining to be around, and then you just want to be by yourself, but then maybe you spend some time with somebody who gives you that energy back. For example, that's the dynamic that me and my girlfriend have. She gives me energy back. She doesn't take energy away, right? So in the same way, your gift and your passion, which seems to be music, should give you that energy back. The key is you have to take the initiative to go about starting it on a daily basis. The same way that you have the discipline to study on a daily basis, I'm assuming anyways, is the same way that you have to apply the discipline to work on your music on a day-to-day basis. And that could just be 1 hour a day. That could be 30 minutes a day. It adds up over time. For example, I've been learning Dutch. My girlfriend is a native Dutch speaker, so I've been learning Dutch so that I could communicate with her in Dutch. I've been doing 1 Duolingo lesson per day. 1 Duolingo lesson per day for the past 120 days. Now, assuming that the average Duolingo lesson lasts for about 5 minutes, which it oftentimes does, 5 minutes for 120 days straight is 600 minutes. 600 minutes divided by 60 minutes in an hour is 10. 10 hours spent on Duolingo in the past 120 days. I've spent 10 full hours learning Dutch. I am by no means proficient, but ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. I speak a little bit of Dutch because I've been consistently taking small steps. And when you consistently inch forward day by day, you're going to make significant progress over time. In the same way with your music, now that you have the equipment especially, which should make your process more efficient, because you have the equipment, you should be able to take those baby steps on a day-to-day basis, right? And although you may not necessarily be a master with your equipment at this point, you may not be creating hits at this point. In about 3 years, if you work at it for maybe 30 minutes a day, that's going to add up. That's going to add up over time, and that's undeniable. And that's where time blocking comes into play. You have to time block the parts of your life that you don't necessarily want to do, but also time block the parts of your life that you do want to do. For example, when I was learning how to time block during quarantine, what I would do is I would wake up at 6 a.m. every day, and to the minute, I would have everything scheduled. Everything from my meditations, brushing my teeth, making videos, working out. And then, once I finished everything, which oftentimes would occur around noon every day, so from 6 a.m. to noon, I was doing all of the stuff that I felt like I needed to do. After noon, I would focus on writing for the rest of the day. I would just write, watch Netflix, go outside, whatever. And that's where I learned how to write the way that I write right now, was in that time period from noon to about 10 p.m., where I would write every single day. What you'll find is that if you time block, you'll realize that you're just not using your time very efficiently. That's basically what I'm saying. You're not using your time in the most efficient way that you can be. And it's those little 10-minute breaks that you take in the middle of what you're doing that oftentimes add up. Again, small incremental steps add up over time. It doesn't matter which direction you're going in, whether you're going in the direction of your dreams or in the complete opposite direction. Small incremental steps add up over time. So when you use your awareness, the power of awareness, which you now have, to set the intention to walk in the direction of your dreams, what you'll find is that you'll cut out a lot of the excess in your life. And that doesn't mean you're not going to study. That doesn't mean that you're going to sabotage your scholarship. But what it means is that you're going to do those things as need be. And then from there, you're going to spend the rest of your day making music. What you'll probably find is that you don't need to dedicate any more than, let's say, 8 hours a day to school. 8 hours a day to school, as well as other extraneous tasks. Now, as far as music goes, I do sense that you have a fear of success, right? And this is oftentimes the underlying cause behind poor time management, or suboptimal time management rather, is a fear of success. You are afraid of fulfilling your dreams because deep down, you're actually in love with the idea of accomplishing your dreams, but you know that the reality can never live up to the idea, to the expectation that you've set in your mind. And you're not misguided in thinking that. But that's why you have to fall in love with the process. And when you fall in love with the process, again, you're going to start to take those small incremental steps naturally. You're going to make time in your day-to-day life. I know you have time. Okay, you sent me this long dilemma right here. You have time. If you have time to send me a dilemma like this, or even watch my videos to know that I do dilemmas, then you have time to create music. You do. You have time to create music. That little episode of Netflix that you're watching, you don't need to be watching that. Or maybe you watch that and you make music at the same time. But you have to cut out the excess. Cut out the excess. You might even have to lose some sleep for a little bit. Maybe during exams, you might have to lose some sleep. But you have to keep going. You have to take baby steps. It's better to take baby steps than to stand where you are, because if you stand where you are, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to fall in love with the journey, with the process. And all of the accolades, the achievements, those will take care of themselves. Now, something else that I would maybe suggest is, I don't know how schooling works in South Africa, but see if you can maybe change your major, change your line of study to music. If you know you want to be a musician, I don't know what you're majoring in, but I'm assuming it's probably a pretty strenuous major. There's no reason you should be majoring in chemical engineering and you want to be a musician. It makes absolutely no sense. And especially if they're paying for your college, you're getting a free education, you should pick something that you think you might actually use. Because here's what's going to end up happening. If you major in some completely unrelated major just for the sake of pleasing your parents or just getting something that you think can get you a job in a field that you don't even want to work in when you graduate, what's going to end up happening is you're going to graduate and then you're going to go and get that job and then you're going to get comfortable. And once you get comfortable, you're just going to stop working on your music. This is why a lot of people never fulfill their destinies. They never accomplish their dreams. It's because they get too comfortable. They get too complacent. That doesn't mean you shouldn't embrace the present moment, but rather embrace the present moment in the context of following your dreams. Again, fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process. Stop projecting your happiness into the future and start allowing yourself to be happy in the present moment and create from that space of happiness. And happiness doesn't mean that you never feel negative emotions. What it does mean, however, is that you have space for those negative emotions and you channel them into your music, just like you channel the happy emotions into your music. You feel something every single day. You feel something every single day. Assuming that you are a normal, functioning human being, we all have emotions. And what you'll find is that you'll always create your best work when you're creating from that space of emotion. So learn to channel your emotions into your work, and a lot of times the work will create itself through you. I don't even write my own poems, bro. I have a ghostwriter. Who's my ghostwriter? God. God is my ghostwriter. The universe is my ghostwriter. The powers that be, the divine, that's my ghostwriter. I'm just a vessel. We're all just vessels. When it comes to this creative stuff, we are all just vessels. And what you'll find is that when you surrender to that understanding and you stop getting so deep into your head about the creative process, you'll realize that it'll be much more difficult to not create something every day than it will be to create something every day.